officially diagnosed with dyslexia going into my junior year of college. And this was because I was placed on academic probation following my sophomore year because I failed 2 classes. And I was really devastated about this, and my mom was fantastic about it, and she got me tested straight away, and there was never any blame, and it was just like, let's get you the help you need. So thanks, Mom, you're awesome for that. But that being said, the accommodations was a really interesting balance for me at the time because I hated the idea of having to need them, but they absolutely made college possible for me. And the biggest one was getting double time on anything. It was an amazing, the first time I had it, I remember sitting there in the exam and just being like, this is fantastic. Like, I'm not like, just trying to throw down as fast as possible. And it was just like, okay, I can take my time. I can read the question 3 times, make sure I know what it's asking. Okay, then I can think about my answer. So there was a lot of freedom that came with it. But they give you a piece of paper that you had to get all your professors to sign saying that you had to give them a sheet saying these are all the accommodations they had to provide you with and that they had to sign off. The first class I had to do this with was a giant class. It was an economics class. There was like 300 plus kids in there. I'm like, knowing that I have to get this piece of paper in and signed by a certain deadline, and I'm like, okay, I have to do it, but I really don't want to do it, but I have to do it. So I'm standing at the end of the line, this huge line, professors at the front of the room, and people who need to talk to them for various reasons. And I'm, massively embarrassed. I'm holding the piece of paper down. My eyes are down. I'm looking down at my feet. And of course, the piece of paper, huge writing at the top, disability support services. It was like, could you be any more obvious? Thank you very much. So I'm holding it face down, and I'm kind of, and there's someone who finished talking with the professor, comes towards the line and comes back up, and he and I collide. He went one way, I went the other, and we were trying to avoid each other, and boom. And my piece of paper goes flying. And of course, it goes halfway down the line and, of course, lands face up. And I am mortified, like just about ready to just be like, screw it, I'm just going to run out of there, say I lost it. And this really nice guy hands it to me, and here, I think you dropped this. And, I'm saying thank you. But in doing that and reaching for it, it forced me to look up the line. And I look up, and there's about 20 kids in front of me, and almost every single person has the same piece of paper. And it was such an amazing moment for me and I remember like A, being just totally floored, and B, looking at everyone individually and sort of like checking out their face and being like, what, them too? Like, and it was so great because it was such a moment of like, okay, like I am not alone and it's really okay. And so then, at the end afterwards, I'm standing there proudly with my piece of paper, it's face up. I'm like, hey, I'm part of the club. Like, this is great. And there's many, many reasons, I'm sure, that not all of them were dyslexic. And there are many reasons why someone would have accommodations. But it was just such a powerful moment for me because it made me, like, I didn't have to hide this. I would say, too, that people say this about college, and my experience is absolutely correct. Like, nobody cared. Nobody cared at all that I got extra time. Nobody cared at all at the end of the class, like, the end of the session. The class would end and I'd still be sitting there writing. Nobody cared, or they would see me walk with the professor back to their office to finish the test. Nobody cared. Like, nobody ever said anything. No one, like, ever. And that was huge too, because I think growing up, I was so worried about what other people thought and what other people were going to say. And in college, I really, none of that happened.